The Philippines has released a new national map, boldly redrawing its maritime boundaries in the South China Sea, a direct challenge to China's sweeping claims. This move is not just a technical adjustment, but a clear signal to the world that Manila is ready to defend its territory and assert its rights in one of the world's most contested waters. The new map visually reinforces the Philippines' stance, drawing lines that reflect its vision for the future of the region. This is more than a cartographical update. It's a political statement, asserting Philippine sovereignty and rights. The unveiling was met with both celebration and tension, as government officials emphasized the importance of standing firm against external pressure. The map's release was carefully orchestrated to send a message not only to China, but also to the international community watching closely. The map, released by the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, is Manila's response to escalating Chinese aggression at sea, including water cannon attacks on Filipino vessels. These confrontations have become more frequent and dangerous, putting Filipino fishermen and Coast Guard crews at risk. The new map is a direct answer to these provocations, aiming to rally domestic support and draw international attention to the ongoing conflict. By naming the waters within its 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone as the West Philippine Sea, the Philippines grounds its claim in international law, specifically the 2016 arbitral ruling that invalidated China's historical claims. This legal foundation is crucial, as it provides Manila with a strong argument in diplomatic forums and international courts. The map is now a tool for advocacy, education, and negotiation. This marks a sharp shift from previous administrations as President Marcos Jr. adopts a strategy of assertive transparency, publicizing Chinese actions rather than staying silent. By openly documenting and sharing incidents, the government hopes to build international support and deter further aggression. This approach signals a new era in Philippine foreign policy, one that prioritizes openness and resilience. The new map is now the cornerstone of this policy, providing a definitive reference for government schools and international bodies. It is being distributed nationwide, ensuring that every Filipino understands the country's maritime boundaries and the significance of the West Philippine Sea. The map is also being used in diplomatic briefings and educational campaigns, reinforcing the Philippines' position at every level. For Filipinos, it's a symbol of national pride and defiance. For China, a direct affront it cannot ignore. The map has sparked strong reactions on both sides, fueling debates and protests. It has become a rallying point for those demanding respect for Philippine sovereignty, while also intensifying diplomatic tensions with Beijing. This pivotal move sets the stage for a new chapter in the Indo-Pacific, turning a regional dispute into a global test of international law. As the world watches, the Philippines' new map could reshape alliances, influence future negotiations, and determine the balance of power in the South China Sea for years to come. The South China Sea dispute is rooted in history, with China's infamous nine-dash line claiming nearly 90% of the sea based on historical rights. The Philippines, however, grounds its claim in modern international law, specifically UNCLOS, which grants exclusive economic zones to coastal states. Many contested features like Scarborough Shoal and parts of the Spratlys fall within the Philippines' internationally recognized EEZ. The sea's strategic value is immense. It's a vital shipping lane, a source of energy, and a lifeline for millions of fishermen. China's militarization and harassment have turned legal arguments into a dangerous security crisis. The conflict is now defined by the standoff between Beijing and Manila, where history and law collide. The Philippines' new map formally designates the waters west of its archipelago as the West Philippine Sea, a move that marks a significant step in asserting the nation's maritime rights and sovereignty. This updated map is not just a cartographic change, it's a bold statement of national intent, reflecting years of diplomatic struggle and public demand for clarity. By reinforcing its legal and geographic claims, the Philippines is sending a message to the world that it stands firm in defending its territorial waters. Regular patrols and increased presence in these areas further demonstrate the country's commitment to upholding its rights. The new map directly rejects China's sweeping nine-dash line, which Beijing uses to claim vast stretches of the South China Sea. This rejection is echoed not only in government policy, but also in the voices of ordinary Filipinos who have protested for years. Instead, the Philippines uses the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, as the foundation for its maritime boundaries. This international agreement provides a clear legal framework, recognized by most of the world, for defining what belongs to whom. Features like Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal are now declared integral parts of the Philippine maritime domain, not disputed territories. This declaration is crucial for resource management, security, and the livelihoods of Filipino fishermen who depend on these waters. By using West Philippine Sea in all official documents, maps, and communications, the government solidifies its position and counters Beijing's narrative. This consistent terminology helps unify the country's stance both domestically and internationally. The map aligns with the 2016 Hague ruling, which found no legal basis for China's claims, though China rejects this outright. The ruling remains a cornerstone of the Philippines' legal argument, strengthening its case in the eyes of the world. For Filipinos, the map brings much-needed clarity and a renewed sense of ownership over their maritime heritage. It empowers local communities, especially those whose lives are closely tied to the sea, to assert their rights and protect their way of life. It's a tool for building national consensus and a mandate to protect the country's resources for future generations. The map serves as a rallying point for environmental stewardship and national pride. The message is clear: the Philippines will define its own borders, based on international law, and will continue to stand up for its rights in the face of external pressure. The map's release follows a year of escalating clashes at sea, especially around Scarborough and Second Thomas Shoals. In September 2025, Chinese Coast Guard ships used water cannons on a Filipino vessel, injuring crew and causing major damage, a stark show of force. Other incidents include collisions, ramming attempts, and even melee weapons, resulting in serious injuries to Filipino sailors. China has also tried to legitimize its claims by declaring parts of Scarborough Shoal a nature reserve, prompting immediate protests from Manila. Beijing's military has issued stern warnings, accusing the Philippines of provocation and outside interference. Live fire drills and aggressive rhetoric are meant to intimidate and create an atmosphere of fear. With each incident, the risk of a wider conflict grows. Facing China's might, the Philippines has adopted assertive transparency, a strategy of exposing Chinese aggression to the world. Coast Guard patrols now bring journalists, quickly releasing footage of water cannon attacks and dangerous maneuvers. This seizes control of the narrative, making it harder for China to deny or spin its actions. The approach unites Filipinos and turns Chinese bullying into a global PR liability. Internationally, it rallies support from allies by highlighting violations of international law. The new map provides a legal foundation for this campaign, while Manila files diplomatic protests for every incident. The government is also revitalizing alliances, especially with the US, and forging new security partnerships. This multi-pronged strategy is Manila's most determined effort yet to defend its sovereignty. The Philippines' bold stance has drawn strong international support, especially from its treaty ally, the United States. Washington has reaffirmed its commitment under the Mutual Defense Treaty, making clear it applies to attacks on Philippine vessels. Joint maritime exercises with the US and Japan in 2025 sent a powerful message to Beijing. Japan, facing its own disputes with China, has become a key security partner, providing patrol vessels and support. India has deepened defense ties, holding its first joint military exercise with the Philippines in the South China Sea. Other nations, including Australia, the UK, and Canada, have condemned China's actions and supported Manila. By internationalizing the dispute, the Philippines raises the stakes for China, ensuring its actions have global consequences. This web of alliances emboldens Manila to maintain its assertive stance and defend a rules-based order. While the Philippines confronts China publicly, Vietnam takes a quieter path, rapidly building up islands in the Spratlys but avoiding publicity. Vietnam's opacity initiative relies on back-channel diplomacy, leveraging its single-party system and party-to-party ties with Beijing. China tolerates Vietnam's actions more than Manila's, seeing Hanoi as less of a threat and more predictable. The Philippines, by aligning closely with the US, has drawn China's ire and become a target for aggressive tactics. Vietnam's quiet gains avoid major incidents but do little to challenge China's narrative or rally global support. The Philippine approach, though riskier, directly contests China's legitimacy and builds a global coalition. Both nations seek to secure their interests, but their strategies reflect their unique political systems and geopolitical realities. The contrast highlights the complexity of managing China's ambitions in the region. For Filipino fishermen, the South China Sea dispute is deeply personal. Their daily survival and the future of their families depend on access to ancestral fishing grounds, waters they have relied on for generations. Now, these lifelines are threatened by Chinese blockades and patrols, leaving many uncertain about how they will provide for their loved ones. The tension at sea is not just about territory, it's about the dignity and heritage of entire coastal communities. The new maritime map and the government's assertive policy are more than political gestures. They are promises to defend the rights, traditions, and way of life of Filipino fishermen. These actions signal a commitment to stand up for their people, even in the face of powerful opposition. Beyond the local impact, this conflict is a crucial test for international law. The 2016 arbitral ruling offered a clear legal solution, affirming the Philippines' claims, but China's outright rejection of the decision challenges the very foundation of the global order and the authority of international institutions. If powerful nations are allowed to ignore legal decisions without consequence, it sets a dangerous precedent for the world, undermining the rules that keep peace and stability between countries. The Philippines' fight is about more than territory. It's about upholding the principle that right, not might, should prevail in international relations, and that justice should not be determined by strength alone. The South China Sea is not just a regional concern, it is a vital artery for global trade, with trillions of dollars worth of goods passing through each year. Any conflict here could disrupt supply chains and have catastrophic economic consequences for countries far beyond Asia. The world is watching closely to see if diplomacy, dialogue, and a rules-based order can prevail over force and intimidation, setting an example for how disputes should be resolved in the 21st century. The fate of Filipino fishermen, the credibility of international law, and the hope for lasting regional peace may all depend on what happens next in these contested waters.